Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Let's go.
Round one, fight.
Thank you for tuning in to the Crypto Street Podcast. Here are your hosts, Killer Whale, Prince, and Crypto Dale.
And remember to tip your waitress.
Hello, everybody. It is day 6,332 in the Crypto Street Bunker. Is anybody out there? Can you hear us? We found the newest guest. We will get to him in a little bit. Prince, give us an update from your sector in the bunker, please.
It's a jungle. It's a jungle in here. I'm living, but, trying to just stay safe, trying to stay alive. It's good, though.
Trying to just day by day, minute by minute.
It's just another day, just another day.
Do you have polar bears in your bunker?
No. Okay, next question. We're not going into polar bears.
Fuck you, Prince. Killer, what's up, buddy?
Hey, I'm running low on canned corn and bottled water here, but trying to survive in these markets. It's just been one gut-wrenching liquidation to another, and I got to stop trading on Bitmex. I just need to cut myself off. I've said that probably 2 months ago as well, but it has to happen.
You just love that 50x leverage, though. Maybe just get a little less trigger happy.
Hey, don't tell him what
That's
to
what
do.
it is, though.
I know Bitmex is like the it's just bad. It's really bad. But you know what? It helps in taxes time, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. So tonight's guest today is the 14th, right? Yeah. The 14th. He was last on. We were talking about this before we started recording. He was in the top 10 episodes, which is crazy for us to think this will be episode 86. Jabus, Jeremy, what's up, buddy? Thanks for joining us.
How's it going, Dale? Hey, how's everybody?
Not too bad. So we'll skip the intro on how you got in, head back to episode 8 if you would like to hear that. So one thing you and I kind of talked about before that Killer and Prince joined us, let's just talk about, you've been in for quite some time. One of the originals in the space. So tell us maybe, if you could, how this bear market is compared to others in the past. What from your experience, what are some similarities? What are some differences and stuff like that?
The general feeling in the market is pretty similar. I guess you're going to have that kind of feeling anytime you have a bear market anywhere. But one thing, I was talking about this yesterday on Twitter, that I've noticed is last time there was a bear market, we'd have an altcoin pump X30 every week, just like a different one. And yeah, obviously that's not happening this time.
Please.
Everything is just dying. And I think the best idea I've heard on that is market dilution. Where back then there were 2 exchanges and 70 coins. So everybody had their money on the same place. And this one, there's 400 exchanges and everybody has their money on ERC20 wallets. And there's no money, there's no way to concentrate money anywhere. So it's just suicide to buy anything. So this one has been, I also sold a lot more at the top this time and had actual money back as opposed to just riding the whole thing down. So it's been better for me. Last one was very difficult for me specifically. But yeah, it's just been kind of sitting on my hands, a couple Bitcoin trades every now and then, but it's probably been good for my life. I've been able to focus on myself, lost some weight, been going to the gym, getting back into games. It's been fun, but there's not been much trading for the traders to do except for, shorting Bitcoin and Ethereum, hopefully.
Speaking of you selling the top, let's. I just want to remember. It was a tweet a long time ago where you said, this was probably back in December or January, where you said you're selling some here, and some guy tweeted at you and was like, "You're gonna regret this later," and it couldn't have happened any better. It couldn't have panned out any better. It started just dumping hardcore, and you let that guy have it so hard. It was. I remember that. It was the best.
Yeah, that was. You have those kind of things all the time on Twitter. Usually you just let them go, but when someone puts in the top, like not me, the other guy, like you put in the top by being bullish, like man, that's always priceless. Like it's like the guy freaking out and telling everybody to like get out as fast as you can, like $3 from the bottom. Like
Yeah, everyone remembers who that was.
I think
Exit all crypto market meme.
Oh yeah.
Meme, whatever.
Rest in peace.
Meme.
Yeah, meme.
Shut up, Prince.
Dale.
Meme. I corrected myself.
You're not that old. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Shut it.
But it reminds me also. I was thinking of another tweet you had, Jeremy. That was I don't know how close to the top it was, but it was pretty close. Something to the effect of like what you first timers in these markets don't realize is this is not going to last forever. And I just remember like reading that, and I was like, God, I hope he's wrong. Because like it was basically my first time in the market, and the bull run was in full swing. Everything was feeling amazing. Was making a ton of money, and not long after, like the market started crashing, and I was thinking, "Oh, son of a bitch, he was right." Like, just like looking back on it. So, with that in mind, where do you kind of see us playing out from here? I know that's a super tough question, but gut feeling, based on your experience, what are you seeing?
My gut feeling, and I want to preface this with saying, like, no idea at all. I don't know. There's like definitely a case that we could bounce here and like just continue the entire run. But my gut feeling is like that I don't want to say this because like I think it's wrong and people are gonna use it against me. But like I think like just looking at the chart and from like the last run, it looks reasonable to say like down to 3.5 ish, and then like consolidate down there for just a bit, like just a bit as in like 6 months to a year and a half, and then like continue uptrend. There's also like a reasonable scenario where like we bounce from here to like 10, maybe like 11, somewhere around there, and then just have like years of bleed out.
Yeah.
I think those are like probably the two most likely scenarios. And then, up, down, sideways, they're all reasonable in the end. But like my two guesses would be one of those.
Yeah. How do you see like, if say the market does go that direction that your gut is maybe telling you, what do you think that's going to lead for altcoins? As I think a lot of people didn't want to believe that, oh, these can't keep bleeding. It must have a bottom, and yet they just keep bleeding. So what maybe plays out with those, do you think?
What are altcoins? No, I mean, like, I think you're seeing it now, right? Like,
yeah.
Well, so like what happened last time is they just like, if you go look at the like all-time charts on some of the older coins, they just were flat forever. At least that's the way it looks now. If you actually go back, say Poloniex does this well. If you go back and you like condense in on a time frame for one of those, you'll see what the volatility was actually like. And there was like wide 100, 200% like trade ranges in those. And like I said, back then it was 3 or 4 exchanges. So there was a lot more movement around, like a lot more money in concentrated places. So I think what would probably happen if we went down to 3 is you would see just like everything bleed to like where you think it is just done and dead. And then you'd have some exchanges, some of the top exchanges would end up consolidating. You get like a main decentralized exchange, like there would be a winner. And then like maybe 2 other like centralized exchanges would be winners. And then like a couple of the big trading platforms. And then like you'd have some money concentration to move these things around. Say like, I don't want to guess, but like you have 40, 50% moves over some time. And they would just like play out like that for a couple of years. And then once Bitcoin started its uptrend again, and all the gamblers were holding Bitcoin again, you would start to see those wild runs. It's just a matter of like, who's buying alts because no one has Bitcoin and you need to use Bitcoin to buy alts. And all the Bitcoin is on Bitfinex, like about to be sold, like, so there's just not any money in the market.
I do wonder if like we're going to see more muted moves in everything going forward, just as more liquidity enters, the markets get bigger, more established, because I think volatility is certainly going to drop. And with that, I believe comes some of these crazy returns, So Granted, when we say crypto crazy returns, like we're talking like 100, 200x in a day. So even if we fall from there, it's not going to be bad, really, I don't think. But what are your thoughts on that in terms of the markets maturing, more regulation, more quote unquote institutional money, which is like a meme at this point, but
It has been for years. Yeah, I think that I don't know if it's so much like the regulation thing or anything like that. I think it's just like there are so many resistance levels now that the down market has created. So you have so many different levels you got to bust through, and you got to buyers to bust through, and you have like these like really big pockets of sellers. So it's going to take a long time to bust through all that, no matter what the regulations are. And for like ERC 20s and stuff, we're still a long way off from regulating those because you can still go buy a Zimbabwe one while you're sitting in the US or whatever, like China or whatever country. So like you're still gonna have like unregulated markets in a sense for at least a decent amount of time. But yeah, it's gonna be those resistance levels on the way up. Those like big whales who bought a 50-cent token and it dropped to 5 cents, and like they still kept buying on the way down. So then I have all these levels to exit.
and that kind of breakdown just goes to show you how complex these markets are. That's a pretty detailed response to that question. I think it just goes to show how tough it can be to trade these markets, especially when the trend is not clear. And that's a mistake I've certainly made. Over much of the past 8 months or so, is thinking I saw a trend, being too early, getting liquidated, rinse and repeat. Would you say this time you've done way less of that than the first time around, like the 2013, 2014 bubble?
Oh yeah, in 2013, 2014, I guess 2014, because we crashed around the same time in the year. I was like, I paid for my trading lessons. And like what it comes down to in the end, especially in like a market where everything is just getting destroyed, short the things that are going down and buy the
Yeah.
things that are going up. Like stop trying to like come in and like bottom catch things, because that's an ego play. Like you want to go online, you want to be like, hey, I caught the bottom. And I know I just did that like an hour and a half ago, but I'm
Yeah.
doing it less and I'm better for that.
And it's the sort of thing too where, like you said, you have to pay for it. And that's like really the only way I think you learn the lesson is by really hurting because of it. And it sucks that it takes that, but it's how you get used to any market, I think.
Yeah, I used to, or I still tell people this when they get into trading. They're like, you should buy just a little notebook. And every time you make a mistake that you lose money on, like write how much money you lost on the top of the sheet of paper, and then like write the mistake out, so you can have a booklet of like all your mistakes and how much they cost you and how much like that trading book cost you.
That'd be disgusting.
Oh, you wouldn't want to see mine. Like you think yours would be bad? You have no idea how bad mine would be. It's like the multi-house book of losses.
I feel like that might get
So-
depressing though, because I'm like, there's so many losses. It could just be like a compilation of Bitmex liquidation emails.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I gotta ask here. So
Yeah.
we've seen Ethereum really getting hammered, more than and it's second biggest coin out there. So everybody is kind of like, whoa, this is crazy. It's getting hit really hard right now. What are your thoughts on Ethereum? Because I know there's a lot of people saying, we could see double digits again. There's just a lot of questions in the air about it.
Yeah,
What are you seeing right now?
I so my philosophy on this entire market is they're all shitcoins, every one of them, including Bitcoin. It's just the least shittiest shitcoin, so it's the top one. All of them are like very centrally owned, like generally centrally mined. Like Bitmain controls the mining, and like 8 dudes now control like all the coins, and Arthur is basically all 8 of those dudes. And yeah, so like they all have those qualities. Like Ethereum has, it's a weird situation where you have all these big name backers, but like nobody can stop a bear market. Like you could try and then you lose all your money. But I think it is most likely not going to go to the double digits. I think that we're like probably reasonably close to the bottom, and by that I mean like it may only get cut in half
Right.
from here or something like that. Of course, I say that it's going to pop now, but it's my general thought. Like I think Peter's tweet on it is reasonable, and he's got it in like the mid hundreds or something.
Is that Peter Brandt you're talking about?
Yeah, Brent.
Okay, gotcha. So something you said that interests me was that they're all shit coins, Bitcoin included, but it's just the least shittiest shit coin. Do you think these things have worth long term, or is this sort of all a big kind of hype and then slow fizzle to death situation?
I think that it is a very, very large percentage, probably 99%. Might even put a decimal and a few more numbers behind that. That every one of these will go to zero, except for like that very, very small percentage at the top. And it's similar to like if every single company that was ever created released a stock right when they started, like you would see so many of them crash and burn 99% plus. So that's crypto. Everybody that gets into crypto starts a coin at the very beginning. It is a requirement for doing it, and most of them are going to go bust. There are going to be a few of these blockchains that are able to monetize their token in some way. I legitimately cannot think of one that I think will do this, but I'm sure some are out there right now. It's unreasonable to think that they aren't. But the reserve currency for this space is Bitcoin. It has always been Bitcoin. Every time somebody has stepped up and tried to make it not Bitcoin, they have been shoved into the ground, and that will continue. So at the moment, the only token that has any utility, in my opinion, like utility outside of, I guess like being a place where you can make scam coins, like on Ethereum, like it's the only one, and it's the only one that you could reasonably tell your mother to invest in.
Do you think? I believe though some coins certainly serve their purpose better than Bitcoin. Like let's say Monero for privacy. I think it's clearly a more private coin than Bitcoin. Do you think it's like, for example, privacy coins are one of those select few that's going to survive, or those are going to be worthless too?
Those are an interesting case because with proper liquidity, like those could be very, very useful. You could think of a lot of situations where those would be very useful. Like situations outside of illegal things, like sanctions on governments and citizens getting money out of oppressive regimes and things like that. Yeah, so that's an I think maybe one of those will survive, is how it will play out, and it'll be kind of like the situation you have where you have Google Chrome and you also have Tor, and like 1,000 people use Tor and 1 billion people use Google Chrome. So like there will be a need for an underbelly coin, uh, and it'll be used in the same way that Tor is used now. It'll be used to buy drugs, and it'll also be used to send messages to spies in Iran.
That's like one of the sectors I believe most strongly into. So I'm totally with you on that point.
So Jeremy, to new people entering the space, how is it's kind of hard. You mentioned earlier that back in the day you used to have the big pumps because of the fewer exchanges and whatnot. What's one way that a new person, in your opinion, without, you don't have to get too deep in this, could make money in a bear market like this? What are some things that they could do to accumulate more Bitcoin, essentially? Because that's what I'm in the space. I think that's what everyone should be in the space for, is at the end of the day to accumulate more Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think at this point in this specific market, the best way to do that would be to, let's say you're a new person, you just put 10 grand into the space, you want to trade, just crypto in general. Probably the best thing to do right now would be to go to something like Bitfinex, and on like a very low, like 1x leverage, learn how to margin trade, like learn how to trade just the major cap alts and Bitcoin right now. In a more, like, if we stabilize out, let's say we have just a consolidation period here at 6, like we sling up to like 8 and we just stay in this range, what'll happen is people will get more comfortable with having Bitcoin off of Bitfinex or what's it, Coinbase Pro now, or whatever BTC USD exchange they use, and they'll start sending it to altcoin exchanges. And you'll see Ethereum pop up a bit because you need it for the dexes, and like you'll start to see altcoins pop. And in that scenario, it would be a good idea to start hunting on, say, Bitcoin Talk. But I don't know how much that's used anymore. You kind of need to break into the Telegram rooms, like some of the better Telegram rooms, not like the big aggregate ones. Like if it's a 30,000 person room, you're probably not going to learn anything. But if you can like weasel your way into one that has like 500 to 800 people, and I would recommend you don't pay for it, then you're going to be able to find your little splinter groups of friends, and they'll have information, and like they'll lead you to like ICO pools and things that happen in the background. So it takes a little legwork to do it like that, to like, make friends, because you can't just like walk up to somebody and be like, hey, let me be in your back end pool that you don't ever tell anybody about. Not that I have one of those or anything, but yeah, so yeah, you gotta do some legwork, make some friends, try and figure out where those rooms are, things like that.
Funny, and you and I talked, goddamn, probably like one of my first couple weeks in this. We talked on Twitter after one of the famous, I call it Javis Benders, and you invited me into your group. So I got in there, and then that was, I asked you, what's your one piece of advice for a new person, and you told me that. And it's funny looking back now, almost a year later from when you and I talked, that's how I met Killer and Prince, and we've kind of gotten our own thing, and we've got our own group of friends like that. And like you said, I think that's key to surviving in this space, especially in the market right now. Guys see things going on, and like Killer and Prince are going to kill me for the mainframe thing, because I actually did not tell them, and that was the easiest double I've ever had in my life. So
great trade.
I think that's very key for people listening, is get in some Telegram groups. It's pretty stressful in times like now, and it makes it a lot easier when you have guys and girls you can bounce stuff off of and hang out with, essentially.
Yeah, and I'll say, like, if I had to choose one of the two, like my ability to be social in this space and make friends and be in like just have close relationships, and like, or being able to sit there and like trade the up and down and the resistance and support, like I would take the social aspect any day. Like the social aspect has made me so much more money than just like sitting there and grinding the trade. Like just
totally.
factors and factors higher.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, this environment when the market is so crappy and flat is like completely unbearable if you're not, in the Telegram groups and kind of commiserating with everybody else. Some of the memes have been kind of funny. You got to find humor in the sadness and despair. But it's totally the truth. And like, I think what you said is spot on too. Like, that's the thing I would miss the most if I was out of crypto. Like, I would sure as hell miss the money a lot, but like, I feel like I have friends in this space now, It's like, it's important to me at this point. So
yeah, that's kind of like what the first thing you said there, if I could touch on that. Like, I remember people I was meeting during like the major bull part of this last bull market who like didn't understand why I mostly just like screw around on Twitter. And it's because I went through this market the last time we went through this market. And before that, like I was like, I'm going to do like charts and make all kinds of calls and talk about how right I am. And then like that bear market happened, and it was so traumatic I became a new person. And like now everybody kind of gets like, oh, when the market is down, like you have to like make fun of it, or you just sit home and cry all day. So yeah, that's kind of where that comes from.
it's like, and I'm not even like,
so true.
I'm definitely sad that like the markets are so down and I've lost so much money, but it's almost like a numbness at this point. Have you guys found that? It's like I realize it's getting worse still, and maybe my tune will change if we drop another 50%. But
some days I wake up and I think, this doesn't bother me, whatever. And then some days I wake up and it's okay, who the hell did this to me? who am I going to blame? I got to blame someone because how did I let this happen? You know? So yeah, it really depends.
Yeah, you got to be careful on that numbness thing. Like the 2014 bull market, I rode that numbness all the way down to get a job.
Oh boy. Yep, we're headed
Yikes.
there. I don't know. It's like I try to look on the bright side though. If we are in a bear market, we're probably maybe a half to a third of the way through it. Worst case.
So we are in a bear market.
Yeah.
If you
Oh, yeah.
needed some
Yeah, you're right.
confirmation,
I didn't have to qualify.
this is a bear market.
Yeah. Poor wording.
Jeremy, how far would you say would if you had to guess, how far would you say we're through this? Or is it even something you can really answer thinking about
It's
it?
probably something I could answer. Yeah, I don't know. Like I've got two scenarios in my head that are like prevalent, and one of them is like this is the bottom, or at least this is the bottom, and we're gonna go like above 10,000, and the other one is like probably like close to 3,000. So I'm so 50-50 on it. If you ask me in a couple weeks, I'll probably have a better idea. Because like if this busts support right here, like dude, just like pack it up. For a while.
Like it's such a crucial zone we're in. Like it's just so important.
I feel like every time Prince has said this is a crucial zone, we've busted.
This is like this is as fucking crucial as it gets, in my opinion. Like,
No, that's how people in my real life like feel about me, because they're like, hey, so where do you think Bitcoin's going to stop going down? And I was like, well, you know, like 10,000's a really critical area. It's like the next one's like,
It's all
well,
critical.
5,000 or 6,000 is pretty important.
yeah.
I was gonna say, like, Prince, when you said that, you're like the utmost, most critical zone. I wanted to be like, don't be so dramatic, but you may be right though. Yeah,
No, he's definitely right. Like we've touched this. Like this is like the fourth time.
Yep.
So yeah, if this one goes down, it's a scary time for everybody. You should sell all of your ERC20 tokens that are down 97%.
By the way, speaking of Twitter, I don't think we were talking about Twitter, but anyway, so we're talking about this we're talking about hitting support
Speaking
4 times.
Twitter.
Okay, I posted on Twitter. I'm like, interesting that we're like gonna hit this same support level for the 4th time during this downturn. Unlike 2013 or 14, the first response I get is like, "Oh, what are you, an idiot? That's clearly bearish." I'm like, "Bro, I'm just making an observation. Like, it would be bearish if we broke through again. Yeah, but like." You don't have to attack me. Like Twitter's become such a cesspool lately.
It's bad.
Yeah.
The thing about hitting the support multiple times in a row is typically, you know, you're going to break through it at some point. You keep testing it and eventually it's going to bust through.
Yeah, but you're saying that because you just experienced a market where that was true. Where every single altcoin looked like Bitcoin does now and had a bounce, and then went down. There are markets like this where you go bounce, and then you go up. So like if you had just experienced that market, like I remember in like October or November when I was like starting to get a little nervous, like people would literally tell me like, what are you worried about? If it goes down, it will come back up. It always comes back up. So like your frame is different because of the market you just experienced, and to definitely recognize that.
Yeah, that's
fair. Absolutely. And it's hard to keep that perspective when you're getting liquidated, you know, twice a month, every month for 8 months.
Literally getting
But you know, there's a short button, right? Like you can take the other side of the trade.
I've gotten liquidated in plenty of shorts too. Don't get me wrong. It's been a bloodbath in both directions.
Well, yeah, we get those candles where it'll move a total like 10% to the upside downside, and then it'll just come back into like the level area where it opened.
Yep.
And this is all within like 1 hour candle or something, and it just wipes out everybody who's long or short, high leverage.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Man, back in 2000, I guess it was 15, when I was a gambling addict, and I was on OKCoin. Oh, you laugh, but I was on OKCoin. And like volume had like died. Like there was no volume. We're talking like $300, $400 Bitcoin and below. So like I was being the gambling addict I was and not having that much money at the time, taking like almost my entire balance and just like X20ing it on and like X20 at like $300 is like $60.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So that was a stressful time because it was doing that same thing where you'd run to like 350 and you're like, oh my god, like I just like
We're breaking
tripled my entire life. And then like she's like, I'm gonna hold it, and then it would like go back down, and you'd close it like down a couple grand. You're like, you just do that
so
like
true.
every week.
That was like my entry to crypto on Bitmex, pretty much. Actually, like playing with 50x, 30x, just getting destroyed. Took a while to figure that out.
You got to learn by fire.
still
though. I
haven't
think
figured
that's
it
the
out.
best way. The best way to do it.
Yeah, I think you definitely do. Well, I'm sure there are people that come into the trading space and don't have to learn by fire, and thank God for them. Like, bless you,
Lucky.
people.
I wish.
But everybody that's like me, I'm like one of those people that'll just like hit their head on the rock as opposed to like, trying to find a new way to do it. And at some point, the rock will break. So if you're like me, yeah, you got to learn by fire. You're not going to learn.
Same. That's definitely me. Also, I'm a damn idiot.
I lost. Like, it's just disgusting going through some of my old Bitmex accounts. Like, when I first got in, it's just like, oh my god, like that wasn't money then, but
So
god,
do you like change accounts so you don't have to look at it anymore?
Pretty much. It's like, you know what? Fresh start. This thing is a
Say, how many
dumpster
accounts you
fire.
have there, bro?
Like, I've had a few, man. Like, you blow one up too many times and it's bad luck. I'm a believer in that juju
Oh, this
stuff,
is
so
such
it's
a
like,
Prince thing to do.
Oh, total.
He makes a
cringe.
new account.
You know what?
The bad juju.
Account's getting destroyed. You make a new account. You start fresh.
They're just like, it never happened.
This is the most Prince thing I've ever heard
The
in my
book
life.
of Princeyisms. We could
Fresh
write a
mentality.
30-page book on, or a 30-chapter book
Hey
on
Prince,
his.
how many Binance accounts do you have?
Oh, I only got one of those, but I didn't even know I had an account. I had made it. Remember that I had made account, and then it's
Yeah,
like they
'cause
shut
you-
down everything.
Yeah.
Forgot all about it because I didn't trust them for like the first 3 months. I was like, no, they're gonna take all my money for sure. Like these guys are gonna get hacked, and so I just only stuck to Trex. And then it was like I remember one day I was going to make an account there, and it's like, oh, my email's already being used. Oh, that's right, I actually have an account here.
That was on BitTrek or on Bitrex or Binance? What are you saying?
Nothing. Dude.
That was Binance.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not getting into this.
I thought the
I'm not
same
getting
thing
into
about
this.
Binance when I first made an account. I'm like, what is this shitcoin exchange? Like, what is this bullshit? Like, fast forward a month, it's like the fastest company to $1 billion valuation ever. But just goes to show you, I guess you got to kind of.
It took me a long time to gain some trust with them. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Like at this point for me, like you could have your entire exchange like written on a Google sheet, and I'll probably still send you my money. Like if there's something I want to buy and I could only buy it there, like all right, well you can email me the address I need to send in, and I'll send it to your personal wallet, and we can put it up on the Google Sheets.
That's how Crypto Bridge got my money for like 2 weeks without me being able to withdraw it. I think it was Crypto
Yeah.
Bridge.
That's right.
No,
That was a couple stressful weeks there.
it was.
Killer.
It was. I was sweating,
I remember you texting us up.
trying to get my master
the group
node.
chat.
Yeah.
How's that going?
Not the greatest. So I bought a few Jin master nodes, and they are down about 50% since I got them. But I'm still getting some passive income. Feels good. It feels like I'm doing the good thing, but I'm down huge. But it is what it is.
Down huge, but getting
Feels
some.
nice. It's like a
So I'm
dividend,
making
right?
a couple bucks a day.
Can't lose money.
It's like
It's,
it's dividend.
It buys my breakfast every morning.
My Tezzies, Yeah, sure. I get like $10 worth of Tezzies a day, but
Oh, I started
yeah,
getting
they're
rewards.
still down
Prince.
pretty good. So
Yeah, I finally.
Oh yeah, you got recorded.
I think I started getting rewards.
Included in the newest cycle, eh? Yeah.
Noise. All right, well, Jeremy, I think we got everything that we kind of wanted to talk about. Now, do you have any final words?
Good luck out there.
Yeah,
Hopefully that 12K scenario that I was talking about happens, and if it doesn't, don't be the guy looking at the chart and holding that long, because like legit put stops up, because if you don't and it busts, like your mind is just going to tell you over and over, like it's got to bounce here at some point. It's got to bounce here at some point, and you will just lose everything.
scary. exo facto, be on your toes.
Not to leave it on a down note, but you know,
Yeah.
I don't want you to lose everything on that trade.
It's always tough taking a loss, but it's a lot nicer taking a loss and then seeing it drop a lot lower after you sell.
Yeah.
So,
Very
you
good.
know.
Yeah, if you close a position, just walk away. Like, don't even look at it, because there's been so many times, and like everybody does this, or it is a mistake that is common. It was like you're just gonna revenge trade it. Like,
Mhm.
Mhm.
like think
Oh,
about how many
totally.
times like you have dumped something, you capitulated at it, and then you're like, wait, I'm the capitulating guy. I need to rebuy this as fast as I can.
Wait a
And
minute,
then, like-
it's me.
And then you up the leverage.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
you're going to confirmation bias on the ones you were right on. Like, you could be right on 20% of them, and like in that moment, you're going to remember those 20%.
Yeah. Good parting words. So everyone, like we said, be safe. Thanks for listening. This will be out Thursday, I believe, right, Killer?
Yeah.
So make sure everyone head on over. Remember, this weekend we're going to be over in Valley Forge talking at Crypto Coin Con. So if you guys are in the area, swing on over, check it out. We're expecting all of 10 people there. So 4 of us and then 6 of the workers. So Jabez, thanks for joining on. Always fun chatting with you. I appreciate all your words for the space, and your shit posting is top notch. It's one of the best. So thank you.
Yeah, I love being on, guys. Like, have me on whenever.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate
man.
it.
was
Congrats
awesome.
on doing so many shows, by the way.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks. Everyone better gear up for our 100th episode coming up in 14 now.
Trying
So
to counter.
tip your waitress. Shut your mouth, Prince. No one wants to hear your Canadian ass. Peace out, everybody.